My friend is having a baby at the same time as me, and I hate it.
Copycat. Oh my God.
I feel like a terrible person for feeling that way. I hate everything about it, and it makes me a very bad friend. By the way, this comes from Throwaway53270, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, here is some context. My friend and I always had the same interests in many things. He also always has a financial situation better than mine and loves to have nice things. This creates situations where whenever I have something, he has the better one. Like, for example, I just bought a good computer. A couple months later, he shows up with a better one. A nice, great camera with a nice lens, he'll get the newer, more advanced one. Anything I'll have, he'll have it too, but just better. I don't want to believe he does it on purpose. We just have the same interests and he has more money, so it does just make sense. Anyway, this became a running joke between my wife and I. For a long time, I was having a successful relationship with my her, and he was struggling to keep a girlfriend. So when he finally found the one 10 months ago, we joked about it because she was a single mom with a 5-year-old daughter. So we joked that, okay, he had to one-up you on this as well. You're married to me, so he had to find someone that would push him to the next step immediately. And so that was the joke for everything, and it was just a joke. When we decided to try for a baby, we joked about it too. You'll see that when I'm pregnant, he'll show up with twins. Well, you read the title. When I knew I was going to be a dad, I was very excited, and I told him the news. I was feeling great about it. I was thinking this would be an amazing moment. Him and his girlfriend asked questions. She gave us advice. They were great. And at some point, well, he or she's going to have a friend, I guess. And now I hate myself for the following. I was crushed inside. It was no longer a special announcement. It became another thing we'd have in common. I stayed polite and played along, but I was not happy at all about it. They didn't plan to do it. They didn't do it just because we wanted one. It just happened. And yet I have this feeling that it's exactly what happened. He went in his 30s with no stable relationship, met someone just to move in with her kid 3 months later, then have a kid with her not even a year into the relationship. I hate every single word that I wrote in this post. Since he announced the news to me, I don't want to speak about it at all with him. I barely want to talk to him, and I'm just focusing on my wife and my future kid. I put all my energy into her. I don't have anyone to share my joy with now, and it's my fault. Now, he comes up to tell me everything he plans. The shopping he's going to do for the baby, the doctor's appointments. And I don't want to tell him what I'm doing or what we're planning because that's going to be something he'll compare and comment about. Just yesterday, he told me that it looked like I didn't care about the first ultrasound appointment just because I said that I cared more about knowing that the baby is okay than seeing the pictures because I don't think I'll be able to understand what I'll be seeing anyway. I took it very wrong and blocked him. Whoa. There's an edit and an update. Needs therapy. Or to have a conversation with his friend. One of those. Or both.
Probably both. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that I think to a certain extent, OP is right to be like, yeah, like literally every time I get something, he has to get something better.
Yeah.
But I think at a certain point, he's kind of like assign that to everything, that feeling to everything that his friend does.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now his friend cannot do anything right. So before it might have been a reasonable complaint about his friend.
Yeah.
But now it's just like his friend is literally having a kid and he's like, well,
yeah,
he's having a kid at the same time. Like,
yeah. And I think he knows that.
Yeah. Which is, why I think he needs to have a conversation with his friend.
Yeah. And do some self-reflecting too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I kind of get it. I remember like when I was in middle school, I was gonna go on like a family trip out of the country, and we like, first of all, never been out of the country. Second of all, rarely did family trips. And I like was so excited. I like told my friends, I was like, oh my gosh, like guess what, guys? I'm gonna go to Sweden this summer. And then one of the other friends was like, oh yeah, me too. And I was like, that was supposed to be a big deal.
Go to Sweden.
Yeah, because she said it like so nonchalantly, and she didn't know me that well.
Yeah,
we were also in middle school, but it was like crushing. So I was like, I wanted to be so excited about it, and you were acting so normal about it, and I was very sad.
Going to be the one who went to Sweden.
Sure enough,
she stole my thunder.
Going to Sweden too.
Yeah, and
I was
never
really
forgotten
cool.
that.
I've clearly
never forgotten that.
So it's like I get that, but yeah, I think some self-reflecting, maybe
Yeah.
Separate yourself. Tell some other people that aren't having children and get excited that way. And then come back.
Edit. Reading through the comments here really helped me get back to reality. I'm going to have a kid. One of the best advice I've read here was that I do not have a do-over on this. This is my one and only time that I'm going to have my first kid, and I'm totally ruining my experience with these thoughts. I'll speak to my therapist for sure, but you guys have already helped me a lot. Thanks. And comments, Dana29 says, comparison is the thief of joy. Mouthful Peach says, you got a wife and you're going to be a dad. Why are you bothering with this? OP says, exactly. A Pocket Starkly says, I mean, if you want to test the theory, you could always tell him you and your wife are separating because you got yourself a hot young girlfriend and see what he does. I'm very obviously kidding. For real, though, your life is going to change so much with this baby. And I think that you'll actually come to appreciate that you'll have someone you can share the experience with. Aside from your wife, obviously, who will know what you're going through and can offer advice or just an ear when things get difficult. As for your issues, I can only beg you to focus on the joy in your own life and stop looking at his. Focus on your family, your happiness. Constantly comparing with him will only destroy you, and I guarantee he doesn't give it a second thought. Just focus on being the best husband, father, and version of yourself you can be, and you won't even have time to think about him.
Yeah.
Great comment.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, there is an update, but I think also it's just, it can be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, kind of like this commenter is saying. Because now, you got your your kids can be friends. That's exciting.
Exactly.
Like, I think a lot of friends, it's their dream to have kids kind of at the same time.
Yeah. Dude, that'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Update. Yesterday, I made a post about how I was feeling like a terrible person for not being happy for my friend having a kid in the same time than me. The TLDR of this post is that I always had the probably false impression that he was trying to one-up me on everything, and even though I knew this was probably not the case here, something inside me screamed that this was the final straw. Commenters helped me a lot to bring me back to reality. Judgments were made about me, some were wrong, but most of them were true. I already planned to take an appointment with my therapist before posting, but I took it right after. In the meantime, I couldn't speak to my friend about it because I felt too ashamed of my behavior, and maybe some things are better left unsaid. No, you blocked him. I think you have to address that.
If you notice.
Yeah. However, I did apologize to him for my recent behavior. Other events had occurred that made me cold towards him, and I explained myself. That's good. He appreciated my apologies a lot, and that I acknowledged that I wasn't a good friend. I spoke to my wife about it, and she was very supportive. I told her basically what you guys told me, that I was going to have a kid, that I didn't have a do-over on this one, and that I didn't want to completely miss the moment just because my mind was not in a good place. I told her that I booked an appointment to the therapist in order to refocus on our kid, and she appreciated this. Even though she wasn't as brutal as you guys, she agreed with all of your advice. She didn't see the post. I just told her the lessons I learned from it. By the way, you can learn lessons with us if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime for more full episodes with stories just like this.
That's right. That's right.
But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, the blind one sent $5 and said, I have a family member like this and I feel OP's pain. Yeah, I feel like I honestly understand him. Like, I feel like after some time that would get annoying, especially if it comes off across at first, kind of like you were saying, like maybe at first it was a bit stronger, like the appearance of this seeming like a one-upping kind of thing. Maybe that was a lot stronger at first, and then over time it just like you never really dealt with that feeling and it just got worse. But I kind of get that. I think yeah, it's something to address inside of you, something to work through, kind of like what we've been saying, I guess, already. But it could be annoying if he is actually doing that.
It really depends on if he's doing it or not, and I think that can be solved with the conversation. Because you can say like, I just felt, and maybe this is totally wrong, but it felt like you were doing this, and then that kind of created this icky feeling of jealousy,
Yeah.
Like, can you have that conversation?
Yeah, and maybe when you're like saying that that's how it feels, maybe don't use the baby as like an example, but use like the shopping around the baby or something like that. Like, especially if he's saying that you didn't care about the ultrasound just because you said that you just care that the baby's healthy rather than the pictures,
Yeah.
Like, that is actually a thing to be addressed. Like, he's kind of insulting you in a way, or at least I would probably be insulted by that. So So yeah, bring up some of those other examples and be like, hey, like, I don't know if this is how it means or if this is how you mean it to sound, but
this is how I've been
sounds.
taking. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Then you can move on, work through it.
Exactly. But there's a little bit left to the story. Also, yesterday, something very important happened. The first ultrasound appointment. This was incredible. Beforehand, I was not especially excited about it because I had a misconception of what it would be. I thought I was just going to see a few still pictures of the embryo that I wouldn't be able to understand because I thought it'd be 3 blurry pixels in front of a noisy background. However, this was much more than this. This was a live video of those 3 blurry pixels where the doctor could explore in 3 dimensions. I saw it alive. I saw his heart beating. We measured it and we heard his heart. What can I say? Nothing else matters now. I don't care about my friend's actions. My baby's in good shape. My wife is healthy, and that's all that matters. He's the only thing on my mind now after the echography.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, I still go to my therapist, but the heartbeat I saw and heard yesterday already accomplished so many things. Thanks for your honesty. Thanks for those many quotes that I'll remember. Sometimes we are not the best person in the room, but we can try to be better. And that's the end of that story.
My friend wants to give me $200,000. I don't know where it came from.
And we don't ask questions.
John and I have been best friends and neighbors for 12 years. Often when growing up, I would spot John for things when we went out with our friends, going out to eat, movie tickets, etc. He didn't make as much money at his job as I did, and he spent a lot of his money alleviating the burden on his family, who have always struggled financially. He'd put most of every paycheck to groceries, a utility bill, or some maintenance in his family's home. By the way, this comes from friend Rich Throw, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I always tried my best to communicate that it was never a burden for me. I always offered before he could ask, and I wanted him to come with us to events and hang out with us. If it cost me a few extra bucks, it's no problem at all. I think this was certainly preferable to him missing out on everything, but I think sometimes he felt like a burden to me. At some point during our senior year in high school, he came into, started making or otherwise gained access into insane amounts of money. He didn't hang out at all for 2 weeks because of family stuff, and on the day he came back, he picked me and our friends up from school in a rented Mustang. He insisted on all of us just enjoying ourselves and dismissed any questions about how he had gotten any of the money that he spent that day. He drove us in the Mustang to skydiving and then steak dinner on a cruise boat in the bay. It was insane. That day must have cost $2,000. On occasion, from then on, he'd invite us to do something extravagant, but most of the time it was the same, except he paid for his own crap. But he didn't go to university after graduating. He originally planned to. He told me that he didn't need to, implying that the money that he had was enough to live the rest of his life on. Where the F did it come from, John? His family is pretty open about the fact that they are better off. Interesting. They bought a new TV recently and replaced many of their appliances with shiny new ones. Their sandwich meat is fresh deli meat instead of the packaged crap that they used to buy. I suspect that the money is some insane inheritance, and John doesn't want to admit that he didn't work for the money. On to the actual problem. This past weekend, John and I were talking, and I mentioned that I had delayed my graduation date to do a co-op, which was a recurring and longer internship plus conversion plan with a company near my university, which would help me pay for it. I was bothered that it would postpone my graduation date, though. John offered to cover the rest of my college education like immediately. He wrote the check and left it with me when I said I would really need to think about an offer like that. The check is $200,000, which could cover all of my university expenses for the next 3 years. Listen.
How much money did this guy get?
I know, with like, he's saying that he doesn't need to work for the rest of his life, but if he's 18, he can't be spending this money like this.
Well, I'm also interested because I'm like, if it was an inheritance, a lot of times it comes in installments, but maybe it was like a thing of like when he turned 18, he got access to the inheritance.
Yeah.
Dakota loves Stella Payne Princess Substance Lord, or like, and a couple people are saying stealing.
I was thinking that too.
I don't think that would be possible. I mean, it could, like, obviously it's possible,
sure,
but I feel like that is an insane amount. I mean, I don't obviously know a lot about like substance, being, having, selling that and stuff, but I feel like that's an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
To just get from like selling substances or even stealing when his parents seemingly know about all of this, you know?
Yeah, and they're spending the money too.
Exactly. So I feel like
I
this
don't
is some
know.
sort of inheritance. Someone said lottery, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a lottery.
Which is another good idea.
Yeah,
but
because I feel like a lot of times too with the lottery, like people don't really say that they won the lottery because then obviously people will like come steal. So maybe that did happen. On to possible consequences. John's reaction to my accepting or declining his offer will be important to him. It's possible that he doesn't have that much money and immediately regretted the offer after making it. He may resent me if I attempt to deposit his check. This may also be John's way of validating himself. He felt dependent on me for a long time, and after this, he'll feel that he has repaid me, and much, much more. Some comments say, it sounds like he won the lottery. No, really, one of the smartest things to do when you win the lottery is to tell no one. Exactly. It sounds like they came into money and are quickly enjoying it. You've shown this guy kindness before and he wants to reciprocate it. I would personally negotiate a smaller, more realistic amount while humbly letting him know how grateful you are. Maybe arrange it as a loan instead of a gift if you really feel uncomfortable about it. If he insists, though, definitely handle it with a professional, at least an accountant, and possibly a lawyer. There's a minimum amount that you can deposit at a bank before it's automatically investigated by the IRS and you start paying taxes, I believe. I want to say $5,000. It is, yeah. Congratulations on having such a generous friend.
I think that's probably a great idea. Someone said in the chat that because it's a check, probably legal, which is good.
True, yeah.
But yeah, I feel like because it's such a large amount, you don't want it to get like taxed or anything.
Yeah. So it's a shame that he didn't just give you a suitcase of cash.
Yeah.
And then you would have been good.
I'm wondering though how that works because I don't personally know how because if it was like a lottery, it would have already been taxed.
Mm-hmm.
If it was an inheritance, I don't believe that it gets taxed. I think that's like there's some rules about that. I don't. So. Yeah, I guess maybe it depends on there's an inherit. Well, I think there's specifically an inheritance tax actually.
Oh really?
But I think there's a specific inheritance tax. And then the lottery money gets taxed. So I'm wondering if he gives it to someone because it's already been taxed. Does it get taxed again if it's a gift?
Commenter number 2 says there are many things to consider. If you decide to take this money, do not cash the check, get professionals involved. You need to have a contract that states exactly what your obligations are. The whole thing needs to be optimized by a tax expert, or otherwise you'll have to pay an insane amount of taxes on it. For instance, it might be possible to set up a charity that holds the money and grants it to you as a scholarship, but again, talk to experts. If you just cash the check and make a mistake with the taxes on it, this could literally set you up for a lifetime of problems. Remember that in most countries, absolutely nothing other than a deal with the tax agency can remove a tax debt. Not even bankruptcy gets you off the hook. If you take it, you will forever owe him a huge debt. Nothing ever truly comes with no strings attached. If this money is somehow from criminal activities, you could end up in a lot of trouble. It's very possible that he can't give you this money and his parents may object. If the money is not his to manage, criminal charges may be filed against you if things go wrong somehow. Commenter number 3 says, put the brakes on. He and his family seem to be blowing through this money really fast, and honestly, as generous as it is, him carelessly giving you a $200,000 check without thinking twice isn't smart. They grew up struggling, so their spending habits are acclimated to not having liquid cash on hand. Now they suddenly have a ton of it, and they're going to rush to spend everything that they always wanted to. In a year, it'll be completely gone. So who knows? A year from now, maybe he'll resent giving you that check. They need to speak with a financial advisor. And it's also, why is your schooling going to cost $200,000? That is extremely steep.
That person is not from America.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Why?
Yeah.
Dude.
But I do wonder, though, because OP did say, like, it sounded like OP was already kind of in college a little bit. Like, he was postponing his graduation date. I thought that meant
I think high school.
College. I don't know why do you have to, never mind. I guess, yeah, he was, I just was confused why he was like postponing his high school graduation date because of an internship. That just didn't seem right. That's good.
But you can't postpone your,
yeah, because you can't really do that. But postponing your college graduation, you can.
I don't know. That's a good point.
So like maybe he's, I don't know, getting a master's or something after,
or is a bunch of debt.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, but either way, that comment is not American.
Yeah. So for the taxes, he had already discussed the possibility of giving me this money with his lawyer long before he wrote me the check. He budgets for $50K a year when he could be spending $320K. Yes, those numbers are actual effing numbers. He has over $20 million. What kind of money is this? I've been curious about it since he got the money, but after showing me his budget and balance, considering I would be connected to the money if I accepted his offer, I had to effing know. I asked him and got this story. In middle school, he used to go grocery shopping with his mom every Sunday. The lottery ticket booth was right next to the checkout line, and he always asked his mom why she didn't buy one, given how much they struggled with money. She dismissed it, of course, but the idea still seemed appealing to him. When he got his job in high school, he would put a fourth of the cost of a lottery ticket down every paycheck and buy one monthly as a kind of escapism. Then in December, he won. I literally couldn't believe it. Like, someone has to win, I guess, right? I mean, cheese and rice. What are the odds? According to him, his money is only a portion. He gave the rest to his family. No one outside of his immediate family has been told, and he intends for it to stay that way with the exception of me. He consulted his family before telling me. What does he expect after giving me the money? He says that he wants to give me the money because he's got my back. I covered him at events, drove him to the grocery store and doctor's office, helped him and his family repair their house, etc. since we were in elementary school. Now that he has the chance to cover my back, he wants to take it. Without this, I will graduate deeply in debt. He feels like time is more valuable than money, and afterward, we wouldn't even be balanced, let alone should I feel indebted to him. By the way, you should never feel indebted to us because you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this one. More than 2,000 episodes of more content just like this one. Just go to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, we got our lottery answer.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Wow.
So he's the only one that
only
besides
got
inheritance.
a portion. Yeah, OP might be putting John on blast right now.
I don't think that's super smart, but I do appreciate that you've given us this good story.
Yep. Hopefully this is a different name.
Yeah. No, it seems like, honestly, I would accept it. I'd definitely like go through the lawyer route, make sure that you've got everything covered. But
yeah,
this, he's paying you back for being a great friend.
Yeah, because $200,000 in debt is so insane.
Yeah.
That just sparks a whole nother question in my brain about college and all that stuff. But,
yeah,
that's another conversation.
But John seems like a great person.
Yes. Good on
very,
you,
very
John.
Generous.
But there's a little bit more to the story. Let's wrap this up. So, resolution. I told John that I would take the money if he considered us even. Neither he nor I should feel indebted to one another. We have each other's backs because we're friends, and that's all there is to it. I made sure that he understood how much I appreciated it, how much it meant to me. He agreed. We've scheduled another meeting with his lawyer to finalize the deal. John is awesome. Final comment says, dang, dude, it's almost like you hit a jackpot of your own. It's awesome that you have such a good friend and awesome that you aren't trying to take advantage of him. Both of you are awesome friends.
So true. And now you have cool rich friend for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That's great.
I lost motivation to do favors for my friend's daughter because she's ungrateful.
Well, then she doesn't deserve it.
I run a small family party business from my home as a second job. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. Over the years, I have offered a few times to make party favors and decorations for her kids' parties as a gift. Things are a struggle for her, and I just wanted to do something nice for her kids. By the way, this comes from Aunt Sam's mom, 25. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I buy all of the supplies and my labor is free and is their gift. The scale and cost of everything changes depending on the event. I do this for my nieces and nephews as well. I enjoy doing it and I think it makes people happy. A few weeks ago, I offered to make Sweet 16 favors and some decorations for a small restaurant party for my coworker's daughter. One night, I FaceTime with the mother and the daughter, and we were discussing colors. She picked light blue and light pink as her color scheme. That's not colors I normally would associate with a Sweet 16, and I mentioned it to her that I was concerned it would look more like a baby shower. She snapped at me and said, "I want light blue and light pink." A few days later, I'm speaking to the mother that I wasn't finding a lot of Sweet 16 items in that color scheme. She picked up the phone and calls her daughter on speakerphone and explains to her the issue. The daughter abruptly said, "What part of light pink and light blue does she not understand? I know she's a child and has had a rough road, but am I the a-hole for not going the extra mile for them? Extra mile making them. I offer to make favors and I will make sure they are beautiful, but any joy I have making them is totally gone. Normally I would do a couple of surprises along with the favors, but I just don't have it in me, and I feel terrible for being upset at a child. I feel like such a terrible person. Any advice on what I should do?" Consensus, not the a-hole, though commenters tell OP to be more assertive. Some also say they would have not done anything for her coworker and the daughter anymore. And OP is more gracious than advised. Comments by OP. Here's some answers to a few questions. When the daughter snapped at me, the mother half-heartedly apologized to me, saying, "You understand teenagers." And I do understand teenagers. Normally, when I offer to do favors for someone, we discuss the colors and what I can offer for the party. I will give the person my honest opinion and make sure they're aware that I might not have exactly what they want. She wanted things that said Sweet 16 in her specific color choice, light blue and light pink. I was unable to find that. I can find pink alone, but not the combo. I wanted to make sure she understood. Not to criticize her, but just to make sure she was aware it might not be exactly what she was looking for. It's not worth my time to make something for someone if it's not exactly what they want. I ask clients and family members to make sure I understand what they want. I have no personal opinion of any kind. I could care less what colors people pick or theme they use, not my business, but I'm not going to shy away from being honest. I will explain to them the situation and issue and let them decide what they want. I have offered my services for free for 1 million events, school events, team fundraisers, nursing home gifts, and thousands of raffle baskets, all for free. Remember, this is my second job. Money is tight. If I offer something, it's with a whole heart. I've known this child since she was an infant, and I'm upset. I want to do something beautiful for her, but I can't get over the fact that she was just so rude. I feel the mother should have corrected her. Somebody comments, maybe daughter is non-binary and wanted to come out at the party. My husband asked me the same thing. Honestly, I don't think so. That's a really random, I feel like that's a really random idea, but maybe.
Yeah. I
It
almost
also doesn't
wondered
really-
that too, because like if the baby blue and baby pink are like part of the trans
Yeah.
flag too. So,
Oh, that's true.
you know what I mean? I was like wondering like if it was part of that, but at the same time, doesn't excuse
Oh,
you
well,
being
yeah,
this bratty.
my point is like, that's like a really random, it's like, oh, that maybe that's why she was rude. Like,
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Doesn't excuse that.
I think if she wanted to do that, I think the mother would be open to that. I definitely would be open and would be excited to do that for her if that was her choice. I can get random pink and blue 16 items on Amazon in one day. That is correct. But that's not what she was looking for. She showed me a couple of items that she liked on Pinterest, and those specific items do not come in light pink and blue. Most of the items she was looking for were only offered in hot pink, gold, black and gold, and pink and white. I can totally add blue into the bag, but her mother said she didn't like that. I offered to do half blue bags, half pink bags, and once again, not what she was looking for. She was looking for a specific friendship bracelet that said Sweet 16 Squad, a very specific travel cup that I can cricket, but they are not offered in those colors. I'm not a manufacturer. I'm a party planner. I can't make the items come in those colors. My lack of suggestions and ideas is not the issue. She wants something they don't make, and there is an update.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Ugh,
this is, do you have any
ugh.
thoughts, though?
Yeah, I just like there are such easy compromises to this.
Yeah.
Get the separate pink and blue, put them in the same bag.
There we go.
That's all you gotta do.
There we go.
If you want them to both be on something, then you like understand the situation and don't just be like, oh, just because I want this means that I can have like it can happen exactly how I expect it to. It's like no, things don't work like that, my guy. Things just don't.
But there is an update. 6 days later. Last week, I was looking for advice on a situation. I run a small party business from my home as a second job. I had offered to make Sweet 16 favors for a coworker's daughter who was having a small restaurant party. I was paying for all the supplies, and the favors were my gift. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. I really offered because of my relationship with the mother. We have worked together over 20 years, and I really do love her. She's had a very hard road the last few years. 2 really crappy husbands and honestly terrible taste in men. I was discussing the color scheme with the daughter and mom over FaceTime, and she had mentioned that she wanted light blue and light pink as her colors. I don't typically associate those colors with a Sweet 16. I was slightly concerned it might look like a baby shower. She was not happy with that statement and repeated light pink and light blue in a super harsh tone. A few days later, I spoke to the mother and explained to her I was having issues finding what her daughter wanted in those colors. She called her on speakerphone with me in the room, and the daughter said loudly, "What part of light pink and light blue does she not understand?" I walked away, super upset. I had planned on making her favors and then surprising her with going to the restaurant before the party and using matching tablecloths, chair covers, and fancy balloon centerpieces. The mother and I had talked about this, but the daughter did not know it was going to be a surprise. I just didn't feel like doing the extra work after she acted like that. Now, to answer all of the questions that came in, the daughter absolutely knew that this was my free gift to her. She knows there's no charge for this. She knew that I was on the call both times. A number of people thought I was rude for saying I don't like the color scheme. Unfortunately, I'm a doormat. The daughter set the tone of the conversation early on, and there was no way to get it on a positive tone. All I could think is that she didn't like having a small party and that she wanted something much bigger, but her mother cannot afford it. A number of people thought that this might be a coming out party of some kind. I know that's not it. A number of people thought I was being too sensitive, that I needed to get over rude 16-year-old. I deal with rude people every day, and I do it with a smile. Honestly, it's a gift. Being rude just means you're not happy. But I was upset because I've known this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I would have hoped I meant a little more to her. I don't think it's wrong for OP to be upset that this, 16-year-old is rude to her. Like,
I
this
totally
is a person
agree.
who matters to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be upset even when a child is mean.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason that the child thing would like come into play is for forgiveness. You know, like it doesn't mean you have to forgive her like right away and not be upset. Like you can still be upset, but kind of, be understanding is like, okay, she's a teenager right now, not making the best decisions, but the mom needs to parent her still and still be like, hey, you can't talk to people like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it's like when like a younger child like hits you or something, like hurts you, and you're like, ow, like it still hurts even though they're a child.
Right.
Like obviously you're not gonna be like, how dare, like you're going to jail.
Yeah.
You committed a crime. Like that they're a
Exactly.
child, but there's still like consequences. They've hurt you.
Yeah.
Apparently I was incorrect. I know better now. A number of people thought the mom was wrong for not correcting the daughter immediately. Sadly, I agree. It was such an uncomfortable conversation. She apologized for her being a teenager when we got off the phone. I thought it was a cop-out. I definitely think the daughter has the upper hand in the mother-daughter relationship. Getting me involved is just awful. Lastly, so many people told me not to make the favors, to tell the daughter that I was unable to find what she wanted and unable to make them. I'm gonna make the favors, but I'm not doing anything else. I had budgeted $150 to make the 18 favors. To be honest with you, I'm broke. $150 is definitely something I don't need to spend, especially on a kid who was extremely rude. I totally offered, and I will absolutely make them, but I'm not going to do anything else. Let's explain me. I can't help volunteering. No matter what it is, I'm the first one to volunteer. I offer my time and my party supplies way too easily. I'm at the point now where I do more free labor work than I get paid. Even if somebody pays for the supplies, it never covers the whole thing. It always costs me something. I have to start working on getting paid parties and less free stuff, but I'm really having a hard time with so many people who are so used to getting my services for free. Last week, a woman asked me to make favors for her daughter's college bed party. In the past, she had paid for only my supplies. I explained to her that I could no longer do it, but I would have to charge her and give her a good discount. She was totally upset that I had the nerve to ask her to pay. I've done 4 or 5 things for her for free in the past, but for some reason, she felt I was in the wrong. She witched to so many people about me. How dare I charge her? Meanwhile, we're not even close friends. Yeah, the thing is, like, I think a lot of people who are in the business of, I don't know, like, just any sort of labor that they're doing, like if you're doing art or something or any sort of creative thing, you start off doing it for free because you want people to, get your name out there. You want to show that you can do this. But then at a certain point, you've gotten good at it, or you need to start charging things because you financially can't afford it. Yeah. And people get upset about that because they just expect that you should give them free stuff, and that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like I don't know. At first, I was kind of like, with her saying I can't help volunteering. I was kind of thinking that at first. Like she was like earlier in the story, like, this is my second job, but I offer free services to things like, friends' birthday parties, school events, like football games, like all these other things.
Everything.
And I'm like, so can you call this a job? Like,
no, that's
I think this is kind of a hobby for you.
I think OP is too like nice, or too kind of a pushover, because if this is a job, you should get paid for it.
Yeah. So,
and you're allowed to ask for money.
Yeah, like you can start calling it a job, and I think she knows that. Like she says she can't help volunteering, but yeah, I mean, friends that don't understand that like your services cost money,
not good friends.
Not good friends, especially if you're not even that close anyway. It's like that's totally on them. Not fair at all. It costs money. Your time costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
agreed.
Yeah.
But folks, there's a little bit more to the story.
Let's get on into it.
My Reddit family is a harsh judge. You have given me some perspective to realize that all of this is absolutely my fault, that I allowed my friend's daughter to talk to me that way, and that I'm stupid for making the favors. Oof. I just don't have it in me to not make them. But it's really pushing me to take a stand and set some kind of boundaries, because I can't keep giving away for free. It's going to be the end of me. I'm way too stressed about meeting deadlines for people for free and not taking on more paid work. Wish me luck. And there is a consensus saying that though OP is still not the a-hole, commenters start to feel like OP is the a-hole because she is such a doormat. They also said it's hard giving her advice because she won't take it. And there is an update 21 days later.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see her still doing the party favors and stuff, like maybe less for the daughter but more for her friend. And be like, like, to help you out, I'll help your daughter with this. But like, I think it feels like she's learning where she needs to set boundaries.
Yes.
We just haven't put it into practice just yet.
Exactly. And let's start putting it into practice.
Please.
There is a second update, so let's get into it. 21 days later. As I explained before, I really didn't care what color she picked. I was just worried it looked like a baby shower. We had one more negative interaction, and I decided to do the favors I promised, but not do anything extra. I was thinking of going to the restaurant and setting up tablecloths and chair covers. I know this child. I've known this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I was very upset about our interactions. She knew this was free and that it was my gift to her. So the party is this weekend, and I brought the favors to work today. I made 24 pink gift bags with blue tissue paper and matching wired ribbon. Each bag has chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate Oreos, and chocolate marshmallows, labeled chapsticks, cute pink sunglasses with the birthday girl's name on the side. My friend thinks her daughter is going to love them, which I'm happy to hear. As I walk away, she asked me if I can do one more favor for her. She wants me to make a favor bag for her boyfriend's daughter's bed party. No.
I don't like it.
OP, this is a test. Yeah. You're being tested,
this
OP.
Is your chance to put your new skills into practice.
Bed party is for high school senior girls. Their friends bring them swag from the college they were accepted and decorate her bed with the school colors. By the way, you can decorate your life with more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Opoku Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. No, OP, stop. Stop. Yeah. You're walking into a trap. Don't fall for it.
Yeah. Like, there's such an easy way to go about it. Just be like, hey, I would love to do that, but unfortunately, I'm broke. I am so busy. I have had other problems with like friends asking too much and freaking out when I ask them to pay, but I do need to start charging for this stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And any of your friends who have a problem with that are not your real friends.
Boom. Exactly.
But folks, we got a little bit left to this story. Let's see if OP puts her new skills to work. Honestly, I was floored. I have never met this girl, and no, my friend did not offer to pay for the favors. I told her, I'm sorry, but unfortunately I can't. She said she understood, but for the last few hours, things have been weird between us. The old me would have been making these favors, and the new me says no. I have to remember, no is a word. I've been pretty good about saying no to people since my last post. The only thing I have agreed to do is 2 raffle baskets for a childhood camp fundraiser and 2 baskets for my kids' school fundraiser. Those ones are fair. I'll give you those.
Yeah.
I know I'm a work in progress, but today my friend reminded me that I need to think of me first. Consensus commenters are proud of her and baffled by her coworkers' entitlement. Very true.
Wow.
Wow.
That's the end of that.
That is the end of that one.
Oh my goodness.
Love that.